everyone. I have no idea if this is a good time for everyone, but I had a spare hour, so I thought that I would go live and just have a bit of a chat and just talk about my thoughts at the moment. And I'll post this up on my YouTube channel as well, which is Irina Diva. I haven't been live for a really long time. Like, I don't think I've been live for a couple of months. I've been that busy. I was sort of working overtime every week, and I didn't have time at all. But for July, I really wanted to talk about July. I think that this is a very interesting month for the planet. I know that if you guys follow my stories regularly, you'll know that I said that July was a very uncomfortable month, energetically speaking, and that's the truth. It's sort of, we've been going through this purging process, but we're sort of reaching this stage where it's just an uncomfortable shadow area where the shadows are sort of coming out in people, and they have to sort of choose how they go about things now. And it's just very uncomfortable when you do channeling work and you're plugged into the collective. And I actually channeled to reduce my hours to about 50%, and I've been very tired to the point where I don't leave my house for a few days at a time. I don't know really what's going on with that in a way that I can explain it to people, but it's like there's just a lot of energies which are being transmuted constantly. And if you also do channeling work, you'll know what I mean. It's just very, very intense sometimes, and you have to take time to rest and take care of yourself. So where's everyone at the moment? I think East Coast it's really late over there right now. Where are you guys tuning in from? Let me know. I also really want to say thank you to everybody who sent me messages after on my story, where I sort of posted to you guys that I've had people following my stories for more than 2 years now, so loyally, so committed, and they always are just so supportive, and that keeps me going. That's the actual truth. When I get nice messages like that, I'm like, there's good people out there. There's people who take this seriously. There's people who really are connecting with me on a soul level, and that makes me happy, because then I know that what I'm doing is reaching some hearts of some people, and that's good enough for me at the end of the day. I obviously want to put this on a very, very big platform, and I will eventually get there, but it's more important for it to have a genuine connection for me. So I've been very careful about how I blog about everything. I want to be authentic in all of my approaches to everything. So I've had to turn down certain opportunities of how I go about things, and I'm not one of those people that, I'll just post all this stuff because this is going to get me more attention or something. It's actually not like that for me. So you'll see that I don't always post a lot, even on my actually timeline. Okay, so sorry, I missed all your... So England, wow, I've got people from England and London. That's amazing. One of my best friends lives in London, and when this travel ban goes away, I'm based in Australia, if you don't know, and we can't travel until probably next year, maybe. So when that happens, I definitely want to get to London. I have been to England once before. I have family there. Los Angeles, Trinidad. Wow! This is just totally making me happy. I haven't really socialized with anyone in the past week, so this is amazing. Colorado, we've got Seattle, New York, Toronto. Oh my gosh, I want to go to Toronto. I think that Toronto has an amazing music scene, and I work with a DJ who's actually based there. If you guys don't also know, I do voice work and singing work and stuff, and I like to make conscious music more now though, so I sort of walked away from the whole singing scene to focus a little bit more on putting out messages through songs. So I really want to go to Toronto one day. Silicon Valley, Jamaica, Texas, Ohio. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. You guys have made my day. I'm serious. That's just so amazing to hear so many people tuning in from all over the place. It just goes to show, you know, if you just start being true to yourself and you start talking about stuff that's really coming from your heart, you know, you have no idea how many people that's going to reach or what places in the world. Okay. Yes, I would still have to quarantine if I did travel to the UK. It's my first on your live feed, and your voice and choice of words would heal the sick. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I really just wanted to do an impromptu sort of, let's talk about July. Let's talk about what's going on in the world a little bit. And if you guys have questions that you want to ask me, I'm more than happy to really focus on that during this time, because I feel like I haven't really been live for you guys. So I know a regular question that I get a lot is, what books are you reading at the moment? I am reading constantly. I listen to audibles constantly. So when I'm on the train to work, while I'm driving, any time I get, even if I'm at home and I'm just doing sort of chores around the house, constantly listening, constantly learning. And I really encourage you guys to do the same, because you have no idea how one book can completely change your perspective on something, or life itself. And that's how it was for me, was reading some really good quality books and having that just transform things within here. You know, I needed to mature, I need to evolve in that sense. So I have been studying a lot of Dolores Cannon's books. And if you don't know who Dolores Cannon is, she's such a pioneer when it comes to quantum deep trance hypnosis sessions. I love deep hypnosis. It's very, very profound and comforting for me to listen to. It's when a person goes into a hypnosis, but a much, much deeper state of hypnosis. So not the same sort of hypnosis if someone is going, you know, to solve a problem like weight loss or cigarette smoking. You know, they'll do a light hypnosis for that. This is the deeper one, where the actual conscious mind will really get pushed aside in many cases, and you can channel lots of different aspects of that person's energy, which is residing in other dimensions and stuff like that. So her books, Dolores Cannon, I would suggest that if you're ready to hear that sort of stuff, if you really want to learn about the subconscious and the higher self and past lives and things like that. And even if you're very skeptical, I promise you this type of research will really open your mind to how you see everything in the world, how you see ancient history and everything. And it's the type of thing where you're like, that's impossible, I don't believe that, but you're like, but this is incredible at the same time, like how a number of different people, you know, saying the same thing about ancient history when they're in deep trance and they don't know each other. They live in different states or different countries. So that's one thing. Yeah. The other thing is Joe Dispenza. Of course, I will always recommend to read his books. Okay, now, so someone did just mention, what do you think about Joe Dispenza? I really think Joe Dispenza is at the top of his game. He's incredible at just being able to deliver very, very simple information across, which you can absorb in a very, very easy way. So reading books raises our consciousness, which raises our frequency to keep us above all of this riffraff. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love getting into the deep state quantum hypnosis stuff, because that reminds me that there's so much more. There's so much more that we still have to learn, and it just excites me, I think. How would you get out of the hypnosis? The hypnosis is conducted by a professional practitioner, and they'll put you into it and they'll guide you through the whole thing, and they're the one to bring you out. So there's different techniques for that. Hello, Irina. We'll be doing more meditations like the source energy reconnection. Yes, I have such a long list of things that I need to do. I've, in that time I've created 2 songs that we've just finished and worked on. So yeah, there's all this other voice stuff that I want to do, and I have some written meditations which I haven't actually recorded yet. So yes, thank you for all of your reminders. What do you recommend for a better beginner meditation? I really, really encourage you to do Joe Dispenza's, because a lot of people, they need steps. Some people, a good amount of people, they need steps, and he's very thorough and specific in what he wants you to do. So he doesn't necessarily just go into put people, okay, go into this meditation, I'll speak you through it. He's very like, activate this is this chakra you're activating, you're going to pull the energy up through this way. It's a very good quality type of meditations. Okay, I've got a question about it's the melanin that you're asking about. Look, I know there's a very sensitive topic at the moment with all of the Black Lives Matter and the protests and stuff going on. At the end of the day, everyone is energy. So I'm going to answer, starting off with that perspective of going, we're just energy at the end of the day. So I can go into why they're saying that about the melanin, and how there are different claims about how it's different in regards to their DNA, and how the sun affects, them energetically speaking, and their ancestral history on a multi-dimensional level. It goes into all stuff like that, but I really think that we're all energy at the end of the day. That's really how I process it. Skin color is a beautiful thing that we have of diversity upon this planet, and it's actually many different reasons, because we're many different things, I think, from all over the universe, and I just think it's a beautiful blend here. And I love all skin colors and all expressions of everything. So that's my answer. But people talk about the whole melanin thing because of certain claims on an interdimensional level or an intergalactic level about melanin holding certain power. But at the end of the you can't hold on to your skin color no matter what, because you've had multiple lives where you've probably been multiple different skin colors. So that's my answer to that anyway. Karin. Baba Ganoush. What does July have in store for us? Brace ourselves, right? I think we're going to have to brace ourselves for the next decade. Like, I actually think 2020 to 2030 is going to be a massive, massive pivotal decade for humanity on an energetic level. I think that we are going to have a lot of changes happening, which I don't think has been seen anyway in the last 100 years on an energetic level. But yes, July is not a very comfortable month. If you are feeling tired, you have to rest. Just rest. Seriously. If you keep getting thoughts and signs about increasing good health habits and eating habits, listen to them and follow through with it. But if you really just want to stay home this July and not go out very much and just rest up and spend time being you and alone, do it. That's what this is a bit of a hibernation month for me. So I won't leave my house much unless I have to go to do maybe 2 to 3 days of work. That's how much I listen to my guides and my own channelings. That's how serious it is. And I actually have a book which I keep in my room, where I write down now the dates of when I channel things, and so I can record it and I can prove things, and I can channel things sometimes like 2 to 3 years in advance. And now I've really sworn that I'm going to write all of these with the dates. And so, you know, it's not a made up thing, it's a real thing. I know if you follow Lee Harris online, if you follow Energetic Synthesis, which are major, they're very amazingly talented channelers. I channeled the same thing as theirs, and I actually should have made a video, because when I did, it was the very, very end of June. And then Lee Harris put it, I think, in the first few days of July about the energy and the exhaustion. And yeah, I mean, I probably should make just videos straight away, I think, when I get those channelings, because it's a lot clearer, you know, then. But yeah, if you feel tired, rest up. Rest up. I'm serious. You might even find yourself, depending on how you transmute energy, and you as an individual, you know, soul energy, you are going to deal with things differently. But some of you might be very, very tired, where you'll sleep a couple of times during the daytime. You actually really, really need to nap. Don't fight it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the last 100 years. I personally think more like 1,000 years. Yes, I agree with that, but I'm just saying 100 years because I'm talking about this lifespan of people. Yeah, they probably wouldn't be from the 1800s and prior in this lifetime and timeline. So that's why I meant 100 years, because it's not something that people in their current, you know, lives would have seen. In other lifetimes, yes, perhaps. Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't Can you pin up the author and books on deep hypnosis and meditation? You know what? I will do it on my. I'll do it on my story, actually. So anyway, wow. So look, America, man, that seems to be the highlight of everything right now. And you know, it's very interesting when you do live in another country and you're watching what is sort of happening, and then you're talking to your friends that are based in the US. You guys, I don't think it can be stopped what's happening right now. I just think you guys are going through a huge purging. I just really, really would love for the people of the country, and not just America, this is really for every person in every country, because their political systems pretty much all run the same in regards to having two different main parties, you know, like a left wing and the right wing. And I have posted about this on my story, but if you resort to just taking one side and constantly trying to justify that, I think that you'll find that this is so much bigger than just those two parties and what's going on. And I really do think that both are infiltrated regardless. So anyone who's been following my page for years now and who's known me for a very long time will know that I don't support any human political system in that sense. I don't think any of them are being run by people that are of a much higher level of consciousness at all. There might be a few different people here and there within the parties, but predominantly it's not. It's a very compromised system. So don't get too caught up in just going, well, it's all, I hate Trump, or I just love Trump. Trump is the answer. They're playing their parts. Like, I do think Trump is playing his part, but I mean, people who tend to be very into QAnon will really, really attach themselves to that. And I think that this is bigger than that. So, all right, getting back to... Yeah, so yes, I got a comment, taking naps more and more lately, but chlorophyll and my vitamins every day. Health is literally wealth right now. So do you think the Rona is a virus or a frequency? Well, yes to both. I do think that coronavirus is a real virus that exists. There's a lot of conspiratorial stuff right now. Do I think that things have been tampered with in regards to maybe numbers and stuff like that? Yeah, but I do think it's a real thing. and all viruses are a frequency. America. Two heads of the same bird. Yeah, that's exactly right. Those two birds cannot be part of the new paradigm. It's only part of the older paradigm. So you have to detach yourself from just going, no, but I'm left wing, I'm the right wing. And that's it. And my team's better than your team. It's just, we have to rise above this type of processing. I wonder what aliens think about us humans, especially now. I don't think they think anything different. I really don't think they think anything different at all. I think this is very predictable, and I think that they probably knew things like this were going to happen. And I just think that all of this is part of evolution. I really do. For our type of species anyway, it was very, very clear that we were going to eventually get into some sort of eruption all over the planet, you know, energetically, emotionally, politically. Okay. Got a question. How do you wake up from a hypnotic state? The same way we wake up from our dreams. Conscious awareness will bring you back once you realize that you're in another frequency. It's like, what is that word? Somnambulant? Sorry. Sorry, I'm not familiar. Yeah, well, I think that the quantum hypnosis I like because it just connects you with your multidimensional self, which is a real thing. And when you are born in this dimension, most people don't really have that connection with themselves. It's something that they have to sort of develop throughout the journey. Okay, someone's saying, good question. If you're not tuned into that frequency means I won't gauge into it. In relation to what? Was this in the virus, but they were talking about viruses or as a frequency, or do you mean the political stuff as a frequency? I'll be able to elaborate once I know that. Yes, they want people to pick sides and clash while they're all one and the same thing. Okay, hang on. So yeah, so Raphael, is it? I'll refer to you as that anyway, since that's the first word. The virus you were talking about, I think it's a little bit more complex than that. I think that yeah, you have to recognize it as a frequency and do what you can to not resonate with it. But it's an individual. I think it depends on the individual, to be honest. But yes, in regards to energy healing itself, yes, if you do recognize that is a frequency and you do things to improve your own frequency, especially your energy field, you do things like meditations or Qi Gong movements or various types of energy healing, practices, you can help patch up your energy field and regenerate it constantly, which will make it stronger. And this connected to your, in Qi Gong, your Dantian, which is down here, like your between your root and your solar plexus, like it's all in those regions. That's where you really hold a certain type of energy as well, like your prana energy, your chi energy, depending on which philosophy you're basing it from. Yeah, you can do things that will make the virus, I guess, thrive less. Does that make sense? As a frequency. So you have to do everything you can to make it not thrive within your field. And I was just speaking to some girlfriends of mine the other week. We all went to the beach. Some people were saying, why are you wearing pants? It's winter here in Australia. That's why we weren't in our swimmers or anything. We're just having a picnic on the beach. I was telling them that you have to envision it like it's chains. you know, imagine chains around yourself, like your biofield and energy field. And if you have different weak links, it's like that chain is a weak link and it has a different frequency. So when they do sound healing and they do tuning forks and stuff, they can tell where those weaker links are, where the frequency is off, so they can try and tune it back up. I think of it like that. So you want to make sure that you don't have these weak links in your chain. Okay, yep. And now I'm getting back to the what you were saying with the sleepwalking and the dream. Yeah, so you're saying a form of dream where we think we're actually walking. Okay, so you're just trying to say that it's like all mind. Well, yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, just getting through. Can you elaborate? The person who's asking me about light patches, can you elaborate on that? On a physical level, also, a virus is just a toxic excretion from the cell. So all that matters is how much toxicity you have in your cells and the state of your immune system. The virus itself doesn't matter. Yes and no. It is more complicated than that. When you really include your multidimensional self, there can be more reasons to it. You know, there's some people who have cancer and they actually can't be cured by an energy healer. And if you were able to tap into, it's very complex to explain this, but some people in the journey won't get healed from certain things for certain reasons, which I think are a little bit beyond what we might understand now about why we came here. So I can't answer that for everyone, like, oh, well, if you're just healthy, you're immune from it. A lot of people think that they're immune, but they really, really, I really have to stress this, they really are not in contact with their multidimensional selves. It is very hard to explain that to people who aren't mediums or who can't read energy like that. People think that they're in a certain state, and that's why I have sort of strayed away from trying to give that kind of message out, because people will think, well, I'm healthy, so I've got nothing to worry about. I'm just healthy. People have shadows within them that they're not even aware about. They have karmic traumas that are stored within them from their ancestral heritage that they don't even know that they might be dealing with it in this life or on behalf of somebody else in this life. So it's quite complex. So I don't like to spread that to people, because then they sort of get very overconfident, you know. Whereas if you really go even into Joe Dispenza's work, he doesn't really take that approach with it. He's like, you really just have to go in and dig deep and heal the shadows, you know. And again, you might not know that they're there. So, and a lot of people have energies attached to them, external energies, you know, that do like that. So if that person's actually not aware that they have those entity attachments within them, those entity attachments they'll be so drawn to that virus or sickness or just the state of the cells, basically. So if you don't know that they're there, you know, it's best not to be overconfident in that sense. Be confident, but always be, you know, cautious. Okay, I'm going back. Someone said, thanks for answering question. No problem. Can you talk in depth about our transition from a 4D Earth to 5D Earth? I don't know. It's a little bit complex to sort of talk about that. And it really can depend on, I mean, it's been talked about so many different times, but people have a different approach to it. So in my opinion, it's already here. It's just at a higher resonance, just existing in a higher frequency, like, you know, in our reality scale. So you can actually connect with those aspects now. if you really wanted to, but it's going to be a process. This is not an overnight thing, people. You're talking about evolution. This is a long process. There's a lot of people who I get messages from, they're like, oh, it's here, the awakening, and it's just going to happen like it's a snap of a fingers or something. In my opinion, I don't think so. And I don't even necessarily know if that's going to be in our lifetime at all. I know if you have watched Billy Carson and I, in a lot of our talks, we discuss these topics, and Billy's like, I don't think it's going to be in his lifetime. Billy's is 50 though. So it might depend, yeah, on a person's age, but I think it's going to be a long process. I don't think that we're in the very easy parts of this necessarily either. It's just a process, and I wouldn't worry about it too much, honestly. I don't spend my time worrying about that type of stuff. I think that a lot of it, most of it, is beyond human comprehension right now. You might be able to process it more if you do connect with more of your multidimensional self or your higher self. I think you might be able to process it when you go into a bit more of an altered state of consciousness. But yeah. Could you explain what the higher self is and how to achieve it? Your higher self is a high resonating aspect of you, which is, I would say, much closer to source, if that makes sense at all. It's you, but you have to understand you run through multiple dimensions, and so tapping into that aspect of yourself is such a higher evolved you that you can bring that in this dimension, or harness that knowledge and wisdom and experience, and that aspect of you will not sabotage you. Unlike other entities, if you're channeling different entities and stuff like that, your higher self won't sabotage you, because it is you resonating at such a higher density that it can't do that. It makes no logical sense for it to do that. You can do it by, oh gosh, it's okay. I can talk to you about my experience and things that I've researched, or how I've seen that journey happen with other people, or in books that I've read, and there is no one formula to it. It's kind of different for everyone, but it's not that hard. I don't want you to think that you have to go through this huge, processes of trying to perfect all these different things or strategies or something, formulas. You don't have to do that. It's really you. You have to probably, actually, a good start, like for me, was really understanding brainwave states and being able to tell when I was not in a beta brainwave state. Then I could shift myself to open that door a lot more, because when you go into the other brainwave states, you can really connect with other dimensions of yourself and just reality in general. So that's what meditation is, fundamentally. It is you allowing yourself to go into like maybe a theta or alpha brainwave state, where you can let energies from other dimensions kind of come through and transcend. But it's quite complex to explain, but it's simple in the way that it's you. It's already you. Don't overthink it. You can invite it. You can actually command and invite things to happen to you. You can voice it. You can write it down. You can really verbally say it. You can do it in your meditations. And you can invite the merging of your higher self to merge here, so that you are able to work more in unity with that aspect of yourself here, because you've got so much programming that you're in here. You're in a lower dimension, different kind of density. It's hard. It's like you feel very, very disconnected from source. And most people, when they get depressed, it's just because they feel disconnected from source, but they don't actually know that. And it's affecting their frequencies and stuff like that. So the answer is source. That's why the answer is always love, because love, that is source. That vibration is, at least in our comprehension of it, it's the easiest way to summarize it as being source energy. I hope that helps in some way. Yes, somebody said yin tang from Qi Gong, ancient Chinese healing. I love Qi Gong. If you've watched my interviews with Billy, I love Qi Gong. It will change your life. You can do a 15-minute exercise where you work on your energy, and it will completely change your frequency. Like your mood, your vibe, whatever you want to call it. It will change your energy field. It will unlock energy, right? If you have blockages, it will wake up certain meridian points. You will have the energy flowing. You'll get the blood circulating throughout your whole body in a balanced way. And I actually have like if you're in quarantine, you're like, I can't go into gym classes, I can't do anything like that right now. They're not holding events like that. You can go online. There is a course that well, not a course, but an online teaching website that I follow. This particular lady who does these really cool videos where she balances the whole circulation, toning, purging. She balances all of that. So you've got all these different routines where you can get a complete package of all the different steps that you have to take in Qi Gong for your greatest potential. That's just basically going to connect your relationship more consciously to the energy which is running throughout your body, because it's a real thing. You are energy, remember. You need to start doing things which are going to make you more aware of being able to feel your energy, being able to feel your biofield. You'll know when your energy field is very depleted, and the chi in your body feels very depleted. So it's like nourishing anything, even in this physical dimension. If you want to use the examples of exercising, of vitamins, and when a person's not well, they might need certain vitamins, and it's going to boost their immune up in certain ways. It's all connected like that. Physical exercise, maintenance of anything, maintenance of a car. You have to get it checked up. You have to pump the tires up. You have to get oil changes. You have to do all those types of things. And you are the same. You have to know that your energy runs in certain ways where it needs your help and direction. And you have all those meridian points in your bodies. You have chakra points. They need you to acknowledge them. And you can wake up every morning and you can do deep breathing exercises, which I promise you will impact the rest of your day, your energy field at least. It can completely build your foundation up of how things affect you externally if you keep doing a little bit of that every day. Okay, I'm reading. Sorry, I'm reading. Someone said, the awakening started centuries ago and will continue for centuries. Yes, so it's not something that has just started. A certain stage of it has just started. It's an ongoing thing. Like, evolution is constant. Okay. So someone's commenting, viruses are not living entities. They're really like archons using out RNA or DNA to replicate itself, kind of like mimicking our information but corrupting the coding, causing erosion in our bodies. They can be entities, energetic entities, which are actually external from you as well, which is what I was trying to point out. Not all of them are, but some of them can be. Even though I know there's no separation in the greater whole, but there actually can be energies which are not directly linked to yours. They just gravitate towards that frequency that's off in your body. So, and if you research a lot into the quantum hypnosis, you really know that, because you can actually remove that entity. And that's what the practitioner does a lot. It's not an exorcism, but it is kind of. Thoughts is a funny way to put it, but it's, you can actually speak to the energy entity that's actually there. So yes, yeah, it's all archonic, lower dimensional energy and stuff like that, but you can actually talk to the entity. You can actually talk to the pain itself. And if you follow Teal Swan's work, she will tell you when you do energy healing work, or if you do want to do self-healing work, you can actually speak to that part of your body that is hurting, and she will say, speak to it like it is a separate thing from you. So, that approach is there for a reason as well. But it is not always going to be. Sometimes it's I think what you're trying to say is it's the manifestation of a thought pattern within the individual, which is manifested physically, and that would be more like the archonic energy that sort of what was the word, corrupted, or infiltrated that person's energy. But at the end of the day, you have control over it, and so the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you can become aware of them. So it's wonderful. Meditation is good for more concentration. Hang on, I'm not sure what you're saying. Focus, it's real, or you might, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean that meditation helps concentration in general? It definitely can, but I want people, when they meditate, to do it so freely and enjoy it. Make it such an act of just freedom. A lot of people try and control the meditation, and it's not necessarily what you always want to do in all meditations, maybe for certain types, but you want to feel free when you're doing it, and it actually works better. And that's why you can count walking, singing, anything that makes you happy is a form of meditation. It's whatever connects you to source energy. Okay. When you're trying to connect to your higher self during meditation, can you be interrupted by outside entities? And if so, how can one tell that it isn't your past, present, or future self? You can communicate to it if you want. I know you can do that in astral dream state. You can actually ask if the being is a being of light. You can ask them to reveal itself in some way or form. And whatever it is, you just give it love, though, even if it's an entity that's an outside entity, because they all just need love. Actually, they all need source energy. You will find darkness, that's a real thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm experiencing this, and I'm doing meditation, and like, there's darkness. It's a real thing. Any real channeler and any real medium knows, because they can't run away from that like other people. It's there. So you have to learn to, I think you just have to learn to accept what dimension you're in, and that you might have less control as you want, that makes you feel comfortable. It just, but some of the darkness has to happen, and it doesn't have to drag you down. It can actually be used to propel you up. Someone's saying we should do a Qi Gong IG live together. I'm not a trained person in Qi Gong, like a teacher. That's why I have an online person that I'll go to and do classes, or I have friends that's their sort of specialty, but I don't actually personally teach it. Do you do meridian tapping? Yes, that's a huge part of Qi Gong, actually, and massaging of it. So tapping, meaning you can do it for blood circulation, and like the tapping, this sense, but you can also do tapping, like, do you know what I mean, on your face. My thoughts on marijuana. Sorry if I don't get to answer everyone's questions, but I'm trying my best. My thoughts on marijuana. Marijuana, there's nothing wrong with marijuana. It's illegal. Not legal, but it's a thing that has gone into the legal system, which it's just a plant. I mean, it's things like that make you really realize, fuck, this is just like, everything is so controlled. Like, it's just a plant. It's existed thousands of years before any political or legal system, that you're aware of existed. I just don't want people to become dependent on it. I think it existed for medicinal purposes. I don't think it existed for people to smoke blunts every day and escape the real world and get numb, because that's actually what happens to a lot of people on an energetic level. They'll be like, no, I'm fine, I focus better, but it's like, not necessarily from an energetic perspective, actually. You can be numbing a lot of your energy through that, and you can have a lot of bad energies which get very attracted to that, which will make you very tired, very unmotivated, in spaces that you smoke a lot in, or like things like your bedroom. You can have a lot of very stagnant energy that is kind of caused by stuff like that. So that's my thoughts on marijuana. I think it's fine. I think it's wonderful for medicinal stuff. I don't think it should be illegal. I just don't want people to be smoking it every day, because a lot of them they're like, I'm not addicted to it. I'm not. If you have to smoke weed every day to feel normal, that's not healthy. And I can guarantee your energy field is not healthy, even though you think it is and you feel very, very free. I went to film school as well, and a lot of people, I worked with a lot of creatives, and you'll find that with a lot of creatives, they're like, no, my best work happens when I'm high. That's my best work. Don't say anything. You don't understand. That's fine. If you're going to do that and it helps you, good. But you need to be doing other things too that are going to keep the energy flowing within your body. And you need to be, eating right, exercising. You need to be doing other things like that as well to balance everything out. Have I ever been to Tibet? No, I haven't, but I would love to. I have had friends that have gone there. Someone's saying evolution of human is a monkey, I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but you put an alien face, so I'm guessing you're being sarcastic, because we know that that's not just from monkeys. What are my thoughts on the quantum healing hypnotic techniques? Well, I'm not a trained practitioner, but I really would love to go to a school that does teach that. But I think it's amazing. I fully support quantum hypnosis through good practitioners, of course. Don't just go to anyone. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. I know I'm way behind in the conversation. Dancing is a form of meditation. Dancing is a great form of meditation. It's an excellent, excellent one. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Even though when I'm in the States, everyone speaks Spanish to me because they think I'm Spanish. Do you recommend a certain device to measure brainwaves at home? I don't think you need to worry about doing that. Don't do it on the sense, like, you are the device. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need an external device to necessarily tell you what your brainwave state is. You'll actually get used to it, and you'll know. So you'll know, I know when I'm in an altered state of consciousness, you'll just research what activities are usually done or how you feel. You can just look online and have a guide of the different brainwave states, and it'll explain when you're most likely in it and give it a description. Then you can learn to identify it, and then you as an energy, you will be able to get used to that yourself, be able to feel it out. I find it astounding Billy Carson doesn't drink or has never smoked weed or taken drugs. I guess I shouldn't be amazed, but it's impressive. Oh yeah. Billy, you know, and I've eaten at multiple times with Billy at restaurants and stuff, and he's just not into that type of thing. He just doesn't, it just doesn't resonate with him, which I think is cool. You know what I mean? I don't really drink either. I don't judge people who drink. Um, I think having a glass of wine, I think there's nothing evil about it at all. I don't think alcohol itself is evil on any level. I just think when people don't know what they're doing and they let it get control over them, then, you know, it has really bad effects. And you'll be subject to, you know, lowering your frequency. But Billy's great. Billy is a very intelligent man. He's very kind. He is very kind. He's one of the kindest people I've ever met. And he doesn't get angry. He's very, very calm, cool, collected guy. He's very, you know, I'll be like, sorry, Billy, I took the wrong turn if I'm driving when he was in Australia. And he's like, no, that's fine. We were meant to go this way. He just sort of takes the path of least resistance, which I think is a wonderful philosophy to have in this life, because there's so many things out of your control, but at the same time you can sort of still make it work in favor for you anyway. And he's a great manifester, and that's probably the biggest thing about him. And any success that he's had, it's really his ability to manifest. He's a natural manifester, I think, since he was a kid. If you do have Gaia, he actually has a couple of interviews that he's just done with Regina Meredith, which are really, you get to know him on a more personal level, and you get to know his story. So someone's saying, when alcohol is abused, yes. He's on a natural high from getting information. Weed will slow you down. That's what it does. When I smoke weed, so I don't smoke it. Yeah, I mean, look, it has a different effect for everyone. Yeah, for me, I don't need to drink. I don't even crave it, because I'm already happy. I can have a good conversation of substance with anyone. At any time. I don't need a substance to make that happen. What do you recommend and what to read and to understand your chakras? You know, I'm going to put this, I don't know when you tuned in, but I'm going to put this up on my YouTube channel. I talked a lot about this much earlier on within the live. So yes, I really, in the beginning, I recommended Joe Dispenza. I really do. I pretty much say that to everyone. He's just the easiest, and I've read so many different types of books. He's really the easiest that will explain everything, and he'll do it on a scientific level and an emotional sort of level that you can connect with. But why is strong alcohol called spirit? Yes, well, we're well aware. I mean, there's a lot of things online and things explaining about how your frequency is affected when you're on alcohol. But it's not evil. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't just say spirits are evil. Spirits itself, as even as a word, is not evil. What are your thoughts on coronavirus now? I think it's a hoax without a doubt. And your thoughts, and your thoughts, okay, so you don't agree with my thoughts? Is that what you're saying? I don't think it's a hoax. I really don't. Actually, I really know people whose people died from it. So I don't I don't think it's a hoax. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time, you know, on that. Is there manipulation involved? Yeah, of course there's manipulation involved, but I don't think it's a complete hoax. I don't like saying that because I feel like I'm really disrespecting people who were affected by it, or who had family and friends affected by it. So I don't really take that approach of using that word hoax. I think it's a little bit, just doesn't respect maybe certain souls that did pass. Okay, Becoming Supernatural, Joe Dispenza, yes. You can read any of his stuff. Becoming the Placebo, You are the, sorry, placebo effect. But Becoming Supernatural is it just wraps everything up. It has great meditations in there as well. I think the coronavirus is distracting people from the George Floyd assassination and others like him. I don't think it has. I think it actually gave room for more of that to happen and for it to have more attention than before. So potential of each human has not been discovered, and the power of the gods is hidden in humans. Yeah, I mean, we're all connected. We're all fractals of source energy. I would not drink alcohol. Alcohol is the alchemy is used to extract the soul essence of an entity. We can generalize all of this. It really can come down to the individual and the level of soul evolution that individual has, why they do it, and it's very, very different in that sense. So, again, I really do think if you drink a glass of wine, I don't think that you're evil. Just don't. I think humans are so programmed to categorize shit by their perspective of something and how they want it to be, and they structure these different categories and formats, and then they filter everything through this process, and it's like not even like that when you step back on a multidimensional level. It's so much bigger than that. Just learn to not bracket things in like that so tightly. We really have to be able to view things like, imagine that square, and I mean, you want to view all sides of it, because you could be just stumbling yourself. I don't spend that much time just focusing on telling people what they should do and what they shouldn't do. I sort of give people maybe some guidance, but every person has a different journey and story that they have to go through. Some of those biggest downfalls can be the thing that propels them to their highest heights. So depends on how you really view everything. What are your thoughts on energy from stones or crystals, and do you recommend any for achieving high consciousness? I used to actually post about crystals and stuff like that, and I definitely look at energy transmuters. So do we even know that on a scientific level? You've got lots of crystals in your brain itself. It's how your brain operates. Wouldn't operate the same without them, if at all. I sort of pulled back because I felt like people started to dig at the planet and for profit. And I don't think we necessarily need to do that to the planet and dig away and make money and just sell crystals and have 10 million crystals and have a room full of just all of these crystals. And I don't think that that's necessarily what it's about. I think that each crystal is beautiful like that, and it can definitely benefit from us, but I don't think we should just be relying on them, because it's you that's using the crystal to just, it's like an aid, it's a tool, but you are the main thing. Okay, it's just a transmuter, it's not the main source. So I just want people to have that. There's so many different types of, you can't even run over the amount of lists of crystals and stones there are on this planet. I think that some of the really powerful things are not even the ones that are really spoken about in regards to like Reiki healing, or just if you go to a crystal store. I actually think that they're on the periodic table of elements. I think that once you start looking at things like, I have the periodic table of elements here, I keep it next to me, like lithium and plutonium, and you start seeing how much the government uses these. Palladium, there's a particular one, let me just find it, iridium. You start thinking about these and what they do, you're in a whole other level of, on an intergalactic level. Not that this is not complete. this is totally not complete. There is a lot more out there, I think, that we don't understand yet. Anyway, guys, I got 5 seconds left. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this up on my YouTube channel, and I love you all.